na wageni watatu Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Container packed with supplies that need to make their way to families in Africa, like yesterday. You said this is a 53-foot trailer? This trailer is packed with medical supplies destined to the motherland. We need to help get these out of here. What were you taught about marriage? Did it have you properly prepared for the journey, or desperately frustrated looking for the nearest escape? I'm Shar, founder of Law for Love, the most special place in the legal system in Atlanta. And after navigating families through the court system for more than 13 years, we are now taking those lessons learned to serve and support families to build healthier, happier, more purposeful marriages. Join us live on YouTube at Law for Love ATL Monday nights for our family meetings. Yes, grown folk discussions.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or if or if you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. Just to let everybody know, I welcome both Israelites and Gentiles to this platform every single day. If I don't, if you all don't know that, that's the case. I've done that here on this platform for many, many years. So I know that there are some hardliners that don't want to believe in the New Testament. It's all the same. But that has been the case, at least on the Covenant Awakenings channel, for the last a little over 4 years. And I haven't changed that stance. Brother Karras, why are you asking about this? Because I was talking to Brother Mike a little earlier today. Right before I just got on here. And we were talking about some things with Q2UA. And how we were doing some interactions, what we were dealing with in the background. And I was giving them some of my just personal thoughts of matters that we were dealing with. And, the funny thing is, I'm telling you, we truly don't realize when we're doing the Most High's work, when He has a job for us to do that He's putting in our hands, oh my goodness, you are going to go through everything. The labels, the lies, anything that you can think of. So, again, thank you all for coming on through and listening to this channel, which is, as Chat GPT would basically put it, a borderline hate group channel. And I understand why they say that. It's simply because we come through and we dissect white supremacy. We dissect the system of vanity. We dissect in a very analytical, thought provoking manner the systems that are in play here. Because here's the problem that this situation has. We're not the controllable Negroes. We're the Negroes that don't go off of the narrative that's been provided. And I'm going to tell you this right here and right now. You have to be aware that there is literally an agenda against us. Oh, and yes, AI is very, very biased. I learned that this morning, and I won't be saying much because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of a lawsuit or a legal action taken. Especially on the part of OpenAI towards Quest to Unite Africa. But I'm going to rewind this. I'm going to come back a little bit on this. This channel was always a truth channel. This channel was spun out of Teo Ministries. I've always said that. That was the whole point. That's why you'll see sometimes whether it's Yakoba and Teu on this channel. I just had a different approach. And it's the same. Everything that we say, everything that we do, as we're dealing with the Gentiles, I don't shun Gentiles around here. I will point out their wicked ways, but I don't shun them. You can't actively come on this channel. I don't say that. I encourage Gentiles to listen, and if they have a problem, pray about it. Because guess what? The same Elohim listens to Gentiles too. As long as they're coming under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. There's no respecter of person. The Most High doesn't have a respecter of persons when you're asking for truth. When you're asking to be shown what's right and what's wrong with these scenarios, with this picture. Every Gentile has the opportunity to seek the Most High. And no one here, myself included, is a gatekeeper. You want to call in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach? You can't do that. No. Over these 4 years, tell me where I say Gentiles can't do that. Absolutely not. Because then I'd be a liar. And as a hearer and doer of the Most High's word, the Most High is not a liar. I've encouraged Gentiles to come on these platforms. So why? So we can hear it from both sides. Because why? Because now the Gentiles are going through one of the most horrific times in their history. See, we knew that we would be coming at this day and at this age, but a lot of us didn't know how quickly it would be, and this day is here. We said it. This day was here. It's going to shortly approach because why? Because we weren't going to be here forever. That's just what the Most High's word says. And there's no need to fact check that because that's literally Isaiah 60, Isaiah 11, Isaiah 14. Now you understand, family, what is going on with this open AI, this chat GPT, all these other AI schemas to do what? To discredit. Because why? Because this is their last final play. This is it. This is their last final play because why? If you are the system to where the future enslavement will be, are you going to then jeopardize the system? Or are you going to nurse it along and, provide all the fun facts and everything else? Oh, and by the way, when the deal goes down, they're the ones that you would be seeking counsel and guidance with, and hence there portends their slavery. Because to me, that's the calculated effort of what's happening, of what's going on in this time. We see this coming. We've been talking about this thing coming, and now it's coming to pass. I don't care how many of our unawakened Israelite brothers and sisters there are, especially north of the US line. People can see that there is truly an issue with this system. We could see it first. That's just how it was in the word. And now they can see it because why? Because they have no choice but to see it, and now they have to address it. So as I was beginning to get everything together for this program, that's why I was running a couple minutes late. I was on the phone with Brother Mike. Brother Mike was like, Brother Karras, did you see this? Did you see what they're saying about Quest to Unite Africa? I said, who's they saying? Who are they saying? Who's this that's that's the they? He said, this is what Chat GPT is saying about Quest to Unite Africa. And everything literally that Chat GPT was stating was a total 100% unmitigated, unfounded lie. And the funny thing is, I could have gotten in my feelings and, shook a little bit and defend. But then I took a step back because that did kind of hurt my spirit to hear these lies. Part of those lies is, it was founded by QAnon. I'm like, QAnon? Like, that is totally the opposite of what what we do. I'm like, anti-S. I'm like, nobody even talks about them. And I had to sit back and, I had to understand what the design was. The design is to fluster and cause contention because why? Because let me just tell you, back in the day, in order to control the population, to control the masses, right? You understand that what we would always try to do is we always have to respond. Respond, 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 respond. I need to do this. I need to do that. I got to do this. I let me know. No, no, and then I had to sit back and I had to understand this is the game that they play. But I also had to laugh because here's the thing, here's the metric of if you are effective or not. Here's the metric. See what they're saying about you. And if they have to lie on you, then guess what? I guess we're pretty effective. All right, they had to go to lying. They had to go to their nature. They built a AI so they could, indemnify themselves. It's still their lives. It's still what they program in. So when you program in your lies, at the end of the day, your output's going to be lies. So that's their nature. Who here has not been lied on by them? Who here? So if this is their last hurrah, my question is always this. If they have to lie on us because why? Because we're forming a relationship with our brothers and sisters on the continent, the question is always in my mind, how long do we truly have left? Because if you didn't know about AI and the system of AI and the proprietary use of AI by government systems, well, it's the targeting apparatus. Build the case, build the target, and then action off the target. Okay. But I always had to understand. And the funny thing was, as soon as I heard that the Ruach Hakodesh, the Holy Spirit, just said, "Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, and no weapon that's formed against you shall prosper, and the gates of hell shall not prevail." So it was a nice assured comfort that the Ruach just downloaded into me. And I had to understand, look, Do you not know that Yahusha was literally lied upon? How many quote unquote witnesses they had? Because why? The servant is not greater than the master. Which means what? Which means we're doing the work we're supposed to be doing, and the lies are going to come because why? Because we're effective. But I would also argue that in this time, the lies are going to be more egregious because of how effective we are. It has to. So when Mike was telling me all the pages long stuff that was being said against us with everything that was incorrect, that was unfounded, that was just a plain lie, I had to sit back and I had to say, hallelujah. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, that we got AI, the next overlord system, lying on us. Because why? Because we're not going to be here in this overlord system. So why? Get the people out of here that provide credibility. They're already preparing the minds of the masses. If you're doing anything for black people and you're doing stuff to do what? To create a relationship with our brothers and sisters on the ground in the continent, then guess what? You cannot have a part here in this next society. Because why? Because you threaten the next societal balance and order. Because why? Because there's going to be some real captivity for them. And that principality is trying to make itself known because why? Because they go into a next principality, and that does not include us. See, we told you it was better to get rid of these black folks because now, when the black people are gone, the bane of existence, the thorn on their sides, they can be in their utopia. And they'll quickly realize that it's really their Hades. Yeah, we got rid of black folks. AI said that they were no good. Even the fact that they're trying to work with their brothers and the sisters on the continent, they're this, they're that. They're a far. Well, we're a far right group. I, I, I kid you not. According to uh, these AI sources, we're a far right group. I'm like, okay, I don't know how that how that comes about. Alrighty. Because why? Because they cannot label us. And here's the problem that AI does not want to address: it can't address the word. It cannot address the word. It always falls short. The arguments always fall short because you want to understand, because them demons cannot back up truth with the scripture. And if you didn't know that this was a demonic portal of sorts, you better check yourself. This is the portal. And this is why we understand they don't have much time, because my question would have been, I wonder how many folks before Thursday would have asked AI if President Joe Biden was mentally fit for office. I would like to know what type of AI searches would have been said. Because I guarantee you that before Thursday's fiasco, AI would have stated quite simply, there are no reports to show that President Biden has any cognitive issues. On the contrary, these are all made up and they are unfounded and blah, 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 blah. We already know what that would have looked like. Shalom, Brother Mike.
Shalom, Brother Karras. How you doing? How you doing, brother?
Brother Mike, we're going off, and I'm just giving the highlights. I'm not going to delve into that report that you had just shared with me. And
So you received it?
No. I'm just talking about the highlights that you shared with me before coming on here. Because I'm not going to delve into the report. Anybody can go ahead and take a look. What I want to really break down is, why now is this coming up? What are we truly? How fearful are they in this time? How scared are they? That's really my question. They've lost the narratives, so they have to lie. Go ahead, Brother Mike. Go ahead.
And you know what? You'll be surprised that it's who we connected to also.
Yeah.
Have we got any association? Man, it is a trip. I'm like, are you joking me? I said, I know these people are not located in Tanzania. But I mean, man, it's demonic. This is the demonic news media that this world has stooped down to. And you know, what do people do? They go to chat AI and all this stuff to get all the information, and all the information is supposed to be true. That's what the masses of people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And they ride with it.
Yeah.
They will literally ride with it. And that's the thing I noticed. I typed in other people things, and I'm like, no, that's not true about these people. But I'm telling you, you're right. And now it's making me, when I started reading this stuff, the thing I started thinking about was when Red was on the show with the other brothers, and they was talking about just this here. But Teo them, Yacoba, they was talking about this AI. Now this stuff then flipped. Well, it was always going to flip. And it flipped against, and it's flipping against us.
Yeah. Well, it's flipping against us because why? We're the easy targets. That's how it's always been. When they are looked at as weak around the world, which is what it was, that wasn't just perceived weakness. It was a demonstrated weakness. Folks saw the weakness. So what do? You got to go after your standard whipping boys or whipping men and women, which is us. If you did not think that there was not going to be any retaliation on us because of their weakness, I don't know how long you've lived in America. And maybe you may not know about your history since now that's even being quote unquote censored. So you have no history. You have no standard. And guess what you now have? You just have lies. Now we become a culture and a nation of lies. We live with the liars. I don't know how else to say it. You're living with liars. And now, understand this. How do you reason with a bunch of liars? Explain this. No, that's not true. That's a lie. Where is your standard?
The father of the lie.
So think about this. How do you ever reconcile anything with a liar? You cannot. It's not the fact that you try. You may try to hopefully provide the context and the narrative as best as you can. Hey, let's sit down to the table. Let's discuss this. Let's get common ground. But if all you know is to lie and you lie some more, do you understand there's nothing less? There's nothing else. There's nothing left. What was Sodom and Gomorrah and Jasher? It just was not sexual perversion. Sodom and Gomorrah was literally a system to where they didn't just justify the lies, they loved it. They reveled in their lies. Because why? It was a standard that, or the lack thereof, because they did not want to follow any type of just course or just position. Therefore, they were destroyed. Do you understand, in the last segment of a kingdom, everything falls off the rails for that kingdom right before it's destroyed? I'm not saying this to make people feel good. Sorry, you're not going to feel good about what I'm bringing to you today. Matter of fact, you need to prepare. I've said this. So when people keep saying Russia's not going to do a tactical nuclear weapon, Russia's not going to do this, here's the context that you have to understand. How else then do you deal with a liar?
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with one?
Well, the Almighty said He's going to destroy them. So
what do you do with the person that just keeps lying and lying and lying on you? There comes to a point in time you have to beat the brakes off that person. And when that person gets literally the brakes beat off of them, and they got that big old swollen cut above their lip, and their eye is bleeding on out, and their ear is all swollen, lumps to the head, and they're coughing up and gagging up blood. No, you don't. Look, there's a point in time you actually don't leave things alone. You don't. Does the Most High said, I'm just going to leave the liar alone. I'm just going to let him lie. No. Because what you're doing is your lies are doing what? They're causing wickedness. Your lies are doing what? They're causing darkness. And now the darkness has been so great upon this earth that guess what? There's no choice but to confront, because why? Because that's the wickedness that we're in right now.
Excellent point. Excellent.
So what are we going to see right now? Well, of course, their destruction. That's my calculus. Call it crazy, call it whatever. They can label it. I don't care what they label it. Because if they want to label the Most High's word a lie, that's on them. So understand, I'm trying to break this on down so you understand we don't have that much long we don't have that much time left in this system. Because what do you have to do? Especially if you are a system built on lies. Look, there's no power in our hands to do nothing.
Whew.
But that's how the Most High works. There's not going to be fault found in Judah. That's what his word says. Look, we've been lied on. Okay, we get it. That comes with the territory. Anything you want to do to try to help Africa, you're going to get lied on. I get it. But understand now why they're now talking about the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Why? How did we even get to that? We got to it because there are people that did not accept the lie. We had no choice because why? Because we're victuals. We're servants. We're enslaved to the system. We're in captivity. We're in oppression. So they can do whatever they want to do with us. That's it. We have no recourse in this system. But let me tell you a thing about when you beat up a bully. Because I don't think a lot of folks have actually beat up bullies in their lifetime.
Shoot, man, I ran into a lot of them.
But and guess what? And when you have those folks that just lie and lie because they just feed their own lies. But when you throw those hands at that bully, you know what happens? Their power goes away. Their power is shattered at the first moment of contact because their lies have to project their weakness. This is not a stable, quote unquote, America. It's not. You know when it got to stabilized? It got to stabilized when we woke up and we started to point out the lies. Go ahead, Brother Mike.
No, you're right. No, brother. You keep going. No, I mean, you laying down truth.
So now when all these truths are being laid on out there, when all of these facts are laid on out there, when there's a basis. Look, that's the Vatican that you get most of these photos from, even before you had things open up in Russia with their vaults. No, look, a lot of people think, no, you don't fight the bully. Yeah, you do. Stop placating. Yes, you do. Here's the problem with the rules of fighting a bully. We get told to not fight the bully. Black people are told, don't fight the bully.
Keep your head down.
Keep your head down, keep it going until that bully kills you. Because why? Because you wanted to let wickedness endure. That's what happens. Let me tell you how, I'm going to bring up white folks. Let me tell you how white folks deal with this. Because there is truly a difference in how white people deal with bullies and liars and how black people deal with them. We allow it. Oh, go away, you isolate them. You know what black or white people do? They confront them. That's something I do have to give them credit for. They confront them. And they'll confront them even at their own peril. No, this is not right. I need to talk to this person. We need to get to the end of this. That's the saddest reality. It's true. And they don't back down from liars. If you notice that, if they feel an affront or a slight, they'll take it to their front door. They'll say, I got the police. Yeah, exactly. They'll talk to the manager. I need to see your boss. No, no, no. What you had said is not right, sir.
That's when their privileged rights kick in, and they'll fight it tooth and nail.
Yeah, yeah. You had an affront on my sovereignty with you lying to me. They don't play that. They'll fight truth and we can't let these lies go about. If we don't deal with these lies now, then what does that do for our children? They say that. They listen, they have the strongest convictions when it comes to them finding out they're in the middle of a lie. They go up and they protest. We need to shut on the corners. We need to let the people know. And yes, when it does affect them directly, oh my goodness, they are unrelenting when it comes
Ready,
to.
ready to die for it.
Yes, they are.
Ready to die for it.
Yep. We cannot let this lie stand. That's what they say. Listen to them. That comes out their mouths. Why don't you just take on the bully? I grew up in Kansas City. I grew up amongst some white folks. And I understood, nah, I can't really take on the bully like that. And I would tell them, look, I'm black out here. But you want to know what? I had some white friends and they would say, Karis, I know what you're saying. I'll handle it. See, I don't know if you all have ever had any white people fight on your behalf. I know it's hard for most folks to fathom. But I had some white friends that got into, let's say, one or two fights over me. Can't let them disrespect you like that, Karis. I can't let them do that. Hey, I appreciate it. I had to learn how to deal with things very, very covertly. Not make a scene and not cause too much attention. I had to learn a thing or two about plausible deniability whenever I deal with bullies. See, I don't know if you know, I had an uncle, or I have an uncle still. He had retired from the military, and he told me how to fight them. He told me how to deal with them. This isn't the first time I've been called all sorts of crazy stuff. And really, yeah, we do have allies. If you let them be an ally, well, I don't know how you did not have that happen. I've had white friends defend me. And if you show kindness, guess what? They reciprocate that back to you. They really do. Yep, I've had Asian friends defend me too. I still remember Roger Kidd. And he beat this white dude down on my behalf at 119th of Quivira. I still remember that. Right outside the 7-Eleven.
You know, Carrie, that reminds me, man. When I was a child, we grew up in the projects.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother, she used to study with us out of the Bible. Man, it seemed like every night. So, it started to, we started to get irritated. And so, but when we would come home from school, the kids used to beat us up every day. Every single day. Our shirts be ripped. Until one day, my mother got upset. Because she always told us, do not go to school fighting and mind your own business and things of that nature. And we did just that. We never fought back. We just sat right there on the bus. The kids be slapping us across the head and things of that nature until my mother got upset. And she said, if y'all come back home with y'all t-shirt torn up, I'm going to whoop you for letting them rip your shirt up. And man, we did not want to get no whooping from our mother. And that's the day we started fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the day we started fighting back. And that's when the kids left us alone. That's when they really left us alone. Now, my mother, she got frustrated out of the situation. I understand it. But the same thing is happening now. We're at a frustrating situation. This is where we at now. People can tell a lie on you and expect you to just take it with a grain of salt and keep it moving. But those lies, they start to get heavy. And the way the media moves about, they can make a lie look like it's the truth. That's the thing man.
Oh yeah, but remember, I have to laugh about all this because here's the thing. You understand that this is the backlash for their October 7th. This is the backlash for what's happening in the world, in the rest of the world. It's their backlash. And, who is the easiest targets right now? Of course, we are. We are.
And they most definitely using it.
Now, understand this. Understand this. I didn't say that, I want to also qualify this. Let me qualify this. Let me qualify this. In the case of white supremacy never wants to be on the side of a perceived evil or injustice. White supremacy never wants to be on the side of a perceived evil or injustice. That's not how white supremacy goes. Now, they will cause the evil and the injustice to an extent where that evil and injustice then starts to take a turn on them. That's how that goes. No, the entire system, no, it does not have our back. We know that. But I'm going to tell you this. There was a time, especially back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, there was a time that the system tried to be altruistic. It tried to have what? A semblance of justice. Because why? Because they were trying their best to be the forerunner of the nations of this is how great we are. This is how, how much justice we have and all that other nonsense, right? And then it quickly teetered off because why? Because they couldn't really sustain the level of, fake justice. They were trying their best to put a front on out there. And that front worked for a while. Yeah, I see you all are getting kicked out of YouTube. Sorry, family. That's how it goes. YouTube is kicking y'all out.
What?
Yeah, I was at like 440, and they kicked they threw out a quarter of everybody. We must be doing something right this morning.
Yeah, you must be telling the truth.
Yep.
Now, you know what? Let me rephrase that. You're telling too much truth, and you're going deep into the truth, exposing the lie.
Exactly. I'm going deep into the truth because why? Because over the course of time, there was an effort of deprogramming, defragging.
So this is how it ends, with lies.
Yeah, it was always going to. But the whole problem is now I'm going to tell you this. Now, when this course of time that we just witnessed, now these white folks, yes, white people, I'm talking to you, now they have a decision to make. Because why? Because they're seeing their lies unraveling. Oh, black people aren't just going to vote? I thought our system was great. Did you see your system? With two old decrepit men fighting each other over golf? Do you see your system that you put on display? Yeah, that's been the system of two old men with literally their necks on black folks. Now you have to understand, look, we're telling them these are the lies. And if we're seeing the lies, and guess what? Our brothers and sisters on the African continent, they see the lies too. That's all they have left in their quote unquote AI is to try to deflect. Well, it's AI. We still have things in there. We're still trying to get this. Our apologies. Really? The damage is already done.
You ain't joking. People get sued over that.
Exactly.
Whether it was a mistake or not, you get sued over that.
Exactly. No, it was no mistake. No, that's what they were trying to do, was the intent to harm. Because why? Because if we're working with our brothers and sisters, then guess what? Everything they want to do is to discredit. Oh, you can't do that because, this group here, this group there, there's always a label. And now you have to understand, lies become dangerous. And the liar is the most dangerous person in the world. What does the Most High say about liars? He abhors them.
Yep.
He detests them. Because why? Because the liar isn't about himself. He's about getting others to indulge in his lie. So they can do what? So they can both go down to the pit. The liar doesn't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone. They care about destruction. Because in the end, whatever, you fell for my lies. So now I'm just going to take everybody out. That's the system now. And now this system is going to always try to do what it needs to do and autocorrect. Oh, we got to fight for black people. How come you didn't have the same energy a couple of months ago? Well, because we didn't display the laughing stock of our leaders to the nation. They'll fight for you when it is damage control. There was code. White folks had a code. They did. I saw that firsthand. They used to have that code. You don't say stuff like that in the open, and they used to get dealt with. The funny thing is that they actually stopped endorsing their code, and then they switched. And even right now, they still have their code, but their code is still eroding. So their code, oh, we don't do that. We don't do. Well, what about this? Man, what about that? Darn. What about this? Crap. Because now they are looking like turds to the rest of the world.
Trying to rebrand their lie.
Exactly. And when you're dealing with the people of vanity and you start to look like a turd, guess what? Some people are going to get destroyed. They got to fight back. They got to fight the image. They got to fight the liar. They're going to fight on their own. All to me, this portends. I had already said this. I'm not concerned about a war over in Europe. That's always a distraction. Because here's the thing. The Europeans ain't going to do anything without the U.S. Bar none. I've worked with that. I've worked with them. I've seen it with my own eyes. Saw it literally 10 years ago with my own eyes, and nothing's changed. I don't want to go into this part. I'm going to go into that part. There's nothing on over there. That's not where you're needed. Yeah, it's okay, but, I'm just going to sit here. That's what I was instructed to do by my Minister of Defense or Chief of Defense. And they would be so far back in the cut, away from the action. This is what those European nations do. They're not going to go in and they're not going to fight. If you think that those European nations are just going to have the gumption and muster strength to fight against Russia without the U.S., I have to tell you, you're going to have to wake up from that sad reality. They will not do it. They will not fight. And now you have a nation right now that just signed the draft bill a couple weeks ago. And now you're going to have young men and young women, and they're going to be asking, why are we going to fight for a senile person? Is this even what he wants, or is this something that is outside of the scope of government? This is now the question. If you didn't understand, everything is unraveling in front of their eyes. Everything. Oh, we got to fight. We got to do this. I'm not trying to go in there. Who are you? I'm not trying to fight for your war. Who are you? Do you even know the conflict that we're in? Yeah, it's okay because there's a conflict. It was something that to destroy Medicare. He said he destroyed Medicare. and that's not made up. That's a real soundbite. That's a real soundbite. What else was he trying to destroy? Was he trying to destroy the military? Oh, man. You tell white folks, if he slips up and he tells white folks that he helped to destroy the military, oh, they're revolting that day. Mike, am I correct? They're revolting that day.
That very minute, they're going to be up on it.
And these white folks are on out here saying, you said that white people, you said that military folks didn't die in your administration? Nah, you lying. I saw on Twitter there was a white lady. She said, my husband died over in some country and they couldn't even get the body. They weren't even allowed to retrieve the body.
But we've been dealing with those lies for a long time.
We've been dealing with them. Yes. Mike,
well, now they're just getting the lies.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. Tell them.
They just getting the lies. And so now they're feeling the way we have been feeling for generations. And now they're feeling these lies. Wait a minute, you're lying. And now they have a lot more power than we do to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they fight back, they kind of going blow for blow. Until now, it gets to a point. What is this country built upon? That's what this is what the privileged people are saying now. Now they're feeling the frustration. They're feeling the anguish we've been dealing with for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
They can't take it. You know how many white Americans left the United States? I'm talking about just absolutely just moved out of the United States last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year. Man, they said it got the attention of the United States government.
Yep. White folks are leaving out of here in droves. They're leaving out of the U.S. in droves. Why? They know what this. Look, here's the thing: white folks stay on code. They know when to bounce from a sinking ship.
Yes,
yep, it's time to bounce. It's time to roll up on out of here. They can see it.
They told one too many lies. Said, "Oh, it's time to go."
Yeah, it don't matter who was going to be president. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, It doesn't even matter what the polls say on November 6th. Does it really matter what the polls say on November 6th? Yes or
Man,
no? Give me a 1 if
no.
it matters if the polls say. Give me a 2 if it doesn't matter.
Man, please.
Because I'm going to tell you, no matter what, these folks are fighting. These folks are fighting.
Man, Biden can walk over there and give Trump the key to the White House. It ain't gonna mean a hill of beans. Nothing. Woo. You got a lot of tools, Garris.
Oh yeah, I know. I see it. Because it doesn't matter. Like The Rock said, it doesn't matter. It truly, it doesn't. You think that January 6th was bad?
But you know, Garris, no, I'm not going.
I was about to go real ignorant.
I was about to say something, and I just let me pull back.
I was about to say something real ignorant. You think January 6th was bad? It'll be a whole Bravo channel with E channel plus Skittles and rainbows. And we're not talking about the Rojo kind. Oh my goodness. And you know when they go hard, listen, you know when they go hard, there ain't no let up with them. Oh my good, there ain't no let up with them. When them pronouns start striking. Oh, I'm sorry, family. When them and they start descending, you's in trouble.
You ain't joking.
Excuse me, sir, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am, sir. Can you get behind the barricade? You didn't address me by my appropriate gender. I identify as an alien.
Hey,
see how you offend me?
The sergeant said, the commander said, Sergeant, what's your name?
Felicia.
Oh, oh, they going crazy.
Oh
yeah, but this is what they pushed out there. They pushed it out there. They got an open world to be who they want to be, and man, they have some YouTubers out there, and not YouTubers, YouTubers and TikTok, and this particular generation, like, and the majority of them, I mean, it would appear that they are part of, those people, and they speak against this war, and they were like, it has nothing to do with me, and I'm like, dang, I mean, this is what they pushed out, and they tried their best to push that line of thinking to Africa to feminize men, and they did an excellent job in the United States. They did an excellent job. They got it out there, and now you need these same people to come up and I'm gonna say volunteer their life to fight in a war. You put that you allow them to take their own manlyhood away from them, that manly thinking, that manly strength. And now here you are, looking weaker than ever. And I kid you not. I mean, I seriously believe that this president is a depiction of the United States. I seriously believe that. Just weak and frail.
Can I at least bedazzle my handle on my M4 rifle?
Yeah. Yeah, and then be like, I don't want to break my press ons. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's I never forget when what's his name?
Stardust. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh
man. Oh.
But this is what they pushed out, and this is what they get. This is exactly what they deserve in this. They are deserving of all of this. This is what this country has put out. And now you got the world cracking jokes on you now. That's what the world is doing.
Yeah, look, America's respect was lost August 15th, 2021. That was it. And everybody could see that folks were running into Ukraine literally less than a year later. We called it was like 6 months later. As soon as they lost Afghanistan, it was the very next day they were trying to go after Russia. And we saw that in real time. We were talking about that in real time. And they didn't care. They were like, oh, don't worry. We're going to fight them and do this. And we're going to. It's like, okay, y'all just saw what happened in Afghanistan. And you're telling me that you're going to have victory over Russia. I'm like, yeah, what crack pipe are they using there? And I was actually like, they're smoking crack. And then they really did find crack in the White House. You can't make this up. You can't make it up. Whose crack cocaine is this? I don't know. Remember, in the hood, they find some rocks in a house. Everybody's going to jail. Everybody's going to jail. Kids are going into what? In the foster care? Everybody's going to jail. Stop playing. What's the White House? So I don't know who did it. Oh, I don't know. Nah, everybody's getting locked up.
No, they go do an investigation on that. Who line is this here? Let's trace the DNA.
Check for the small mirrors, the small
Is there a credit card number imprinted on the mirror?
Man, I mean, am I lying? Stop. Everybody would be going to jail. No ifs or any questions. But that was the biggest look. You had to see it. The Most High's not playing. Homes would literally be destroyed. How many of our family members had gone to jail? because they found something they really may not have actually known. Hey, I had a friend in the car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't know.
But you're going to jail though, and
You're
you're gonna do
going
some
to
time
jail.
just like that person.
Exactly. And that was the crime. Do you understand? That was literally the level of hypocrisy that was being shown. It's Brother Garth, it would be, do you smell what the crack rock is smoking?
Mm.
I wonder if they had some Master P up in there. Maybe make crack like this. Please tell me that that Hunter did not bring in a triple beam.
Shoot, man. Let me tell you something. You didn't have that privilege all your life. You had that privilege all of your life, and it didn't necessarily have to be him. But if you've been privileged, and you get caught with drugs, no, they call their parents. They call their parents. But you let that be a black child. Oh shoot, throw that boy in jail. Throw him in jail. They
don't turn the White House into the enterprise, Brother Mike. They got Biden up there looking like Nino Brown. Jill. Make sure that they be paying all of that money, Jill. Because Trump is not gonna get in here and mess up my operation. I'm gonna have to slap somebody if that happens.
Man.
Oh my goodness. The White House really does mean the White House.
That's funny. I was thinking that. I was thinking that.
People be rolling up their $100 bills and they be snorting the columns. The snozberries snort like snozberries.
Hey, so Carrie, so you saying that the White House is literally the crack house, and then their theme song is what's the name of that song? White Horse? Is that the name of it?
Oh man, living just enough for the city, living for a new crackhead in the White House city.
Hey, look, man, it's white for a reason. It's white for a reason.
Joe's up in there with the C. It's the BB. No, it'll be a CBB. The Cash Biden brothers, CBB.
What, they gonna be walking around with braids now, huh?
Do you think he's cognizant enough to even know that he's a joke?
No.
You going out there, you taking on like a line or two before you get on behind that podium. You good. Yeah. He'd be good. He said, Dad, this right here, this kind of potent now.
That's why he said he can't wait to get to the second debate. He said he's gonna hit 4 of them lines. He said when he gets,
what, they're not doing it again?
He's gonna be doing
another
the moonwalk. He's gonna be top rocking. He's gonna be doing a worm.
He gonna take that $20 bill and roll it up like a straw.
Cut the commercial.
He was like, "Hey, Trump, take a dump."
He just gonna be seeing him on the stage, just wiping away his nosebleed.
Oh,
I got this.
boy.
You want to fight? You want to fight? I miss my mama.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Actually, Trump doesn't have to debate him. But
No,
man,
he
I
don't.
Doesn't.
really would see.
You know he wants to,
You know
though.
he wants to. Yeah, that. Look, that fits his ego. He's too much of an egomaniac.
Yeah.
But you know what, Karis?
But
Now,
come on, we all want to see it, though, if we're going to be honest.
you know what? But at the same time, he's doing the same thing, because the scripture said, the Most High was willing to heal Babylon, but she was unwilling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at Biden and Trump, just doing exactly, he said, "No, I'm going to run this into the ground." And I mean, Trump is trying to run this into the ground to once. I mean, whether he become president or not, it don't mean a hill of beans. But if there's a second one that's going to come behind him, they're gonna have that already. They're gonna have that road paid for his next party. His next party member is going to be paid. Period. And that's if this world continues to go the way it's going.
Man. Yeah, look, I told you they don't gave up on the war on drugs. They said if you can't beat it, make it. Put it on the baggies.
Well, you got some
Ghetto
of these
dope.
cities. You got some of these cities in the United States that they walking around just doing drugs free.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
yeah, that is
man,
here. That's out here. Yeah, they don't gave up, especially here in Florida. Man, they gave up. They
You're really bad.
Yeah, everything. It's all legalized, and they're not arresting them. They're not getting arrested.
Man, I was looking at one of the YouTubers that was filming, and he just went on the sidewalk and started talking to him. He said, "How many times do you die?" And man, these people was like, "Oh, I flatline 2 or 3 times," and they got this drug that bring them back. And I'm like, and they talking about this like it's I got a promise of a resurrection. All I got to do is give me the shot, and I'm back, and right back there doing the drugs.
And that in itself is a high in itself.
Yeah, these folks,
wow.
they just get the Narcan, and the police keep it moving. They don't even bring them to jail. They don't bring them to jail.
They're not going to, because it's their precious people, isn't it?
Exactly.
If they and even the funny thing is, Putin said the same thing. He said, "Why don't you do what you did to the black people and put your people? If you want to really sort out your drug problem, put them in prison. Do to them what you did to black people." That's what Putin said.
They're not going to.
Of course not. He knew they wouldn't, but he's just putting it out there. And that's the case. If you really want to end it, remove the people from it.
No. Listen, because the excuse is we don't have a problem with drugs. They have a problem with drugs. They're the problems. While their noses are still white from the talcum powder.
Yeah.
They
had to powder their nose.
Yes, that's what they've been doing that for days, though. Like, I'm going to powder my nose. The little frilly. Everybody's seen that film, The Scarlet Pimpernel, right? Like back in the days, like the French Revolution and that, where they wore those frilly. They want to call them shirt, but it is what it is. It's a blouse, frilly blouses, and they had that there. They would have like a little box there. That whenever you used to see them like touching their nose, they were doing drugs.
Yeah,
that's what that was from all the way back then. This is not new. They've been doing this for centuries.
Exactly. Yeah. Now they have, and now they're getting told the accountability is on out there, because why? Because the whole world sees it, and while the whole world sees it, they have to lie on us. That's it. That is their only recourse. Well, it's black people's fault. We wouldn't have this problem if it wasn't for black folks. It's our faults.
How?
It does. Look, you're trying to justify things. You can't justify lies. You can't explain lies.
But I want them to walk me through, how is it our fault that you lot are stoned or high off your rocker? How is it our fault? When you were the same people that got us into this in the first place. When, like I just mentioned, you've been hitting this thing from when your men were wearing heels and tights and stockings.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter.
And little hot shorts, hot
does white
pants.
supremacy ever require a explanation?
A logical one as well at that?
No, it's not. So while they're looking crazy, and understand they're looking crazy, there is no semblance of sane in this. So now what they're going to try to do is, again, they're going to try to have corrective actions. This is their corrective action response that they're going to try to implement. How they're going to try to implement it, I don't know. But they'll try to implement it, absolutely, because why? Because they are scared that they're showing too much of themselves. And maybe they aren't scared. Maybe they're just like, forget it, we done blew the gasket. When you've seen an addict and he had one or too many overdoses and his brain isn't there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When he walks on in, he walks in awkward, looks like he has a limp. He can't really, cognitively pronunciate things.
When he's done Biden's.
Come down into Tampa in the hood. You see a lot of that.
No thanks.
Here in Florida. You see a lot of that here in Florida. And that's where we're at with this.
Do you know something though? I kind of feel that a lot of the self-abuse that they do is as a result of guilt of what the fact that they protest so much about they shouldn't be judged for their ancestors and so on and so forth. I feel they feel guilty over it. I feel that it haunts them the same way, like, especially when we found out. How did we feel when we found out that we were Yasharal?
Mm-hmm.
After the high, we came down from the high, because then it was like, oh, when you know the history of Israel constantly back and forth in captivity, and then you realize, oh yeah, we're the Israelites. Yeah. Oh. When you realize and understand why you're here in the first place, and you understand all the wickedness that you did, your parents did, your grandparents, and so on and so forth, going all the way back to the time of the Romans, and we're here, we're right where we are. And then also understanding, some Christians will say, oh yeah, crucified our savior, whatever. We kind of didn't, but we didn't stop it. Or not that we didn't stop it, we couldn't stop it even if we wanted to. The same way we can't stop these people from doing what they want to do if they have a mind to do it. They ruled us then, they're ruling us now. But it's like we understood the magnitude of what we had stepped into. I feel that they are starting to understand what they have inherited, just like we understood what we've inherited. But with us, it was, we turned to the Most High. What's that, sorry?
I was saying disobedience. I mean, when I really, I'm doing what the research and reading and things of that nature, I was like, man, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Sister Chantel, I was like, that sounds like niggas killed our Messiah.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I was like, no, And the more and then I just come, it was us who did this. It was us who killed our Messiah. We lied, cheated, and murdered. And I'm like, shucks, you're right. Once when you realize that who you are, there is a high. You're like, you mean to tell me I'm that special? But then when you start going into it and you come to realize, wait a minute now, and there may be a little a gloating, but I tell you, when you get into it and you start reading the history and the disobedience and the murders and the, fighting over thrones and all that, you be like, oh, good night. Sound just like the people I live around right down to this very day.
I like what Brother Richard Long said. He said, we found out it wasn't because of skin color. That's right. It had nothing to do with skin color. They use skin color as an identifying marker because it was never really about skin color. Like I've said, there are Indian people that are darker than me. There are certain other Asians that are darker than me, and darker than a lot of us. So it had really nothing to do with skin color. It was just one of the identifying markers. Skin color, it doesn't really have to do with your hair, your features. Those are traits that identify. It's also another thing that they feel jealous of because, you demonize. And I think Sister Gates Holder she brought that across, like, I think it was last year when she did a study on our melanin and everything, and how they are jealous of things that they can't produce. And they are. When they can't produce something and we can do it and we do something just so naturally, they get jealous, So, and not only that, they have a tendency, the things that they get jealous of that they can't produce, that's the stuff that they actually demonize. But it was never really about the color. It was never about our phenotype. Those were just things that were identifying markers. It was about the blood. It was about the spirit. Our spirit resonates different from theirs, and they know this. The whole thing, color's only skin deep, and we're all the same. They're starting to say that now. Before, we were the ones that were saying that because we wanted to be accepted by them. Can't you just accept us for who we are? We're still the same. Color's just only skin deep. We're the same with this. If you cut me, I bleed, and all of that nonsense. Now it's like, we're like, nah, you know what? We see you. Yeah, you're right. We ain't the same. What did Kendrick say? And now they are begging, no, we're the same. Look, we're the same. We're the same. We think, no, we don't think the same. Yeah, but no, we don't. Yeah, but what if no, we don't. We're not the same. Stop begging, friend. We're not the same.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Mike.
I'm at to pull back on that one a little bit. Now, we say it's not about skin and color, but to a degree, it is. It is about skin color. You didn't see a white or a highly light-skinned Negro going through what the dark-skinned Negro went through, or even the brown-skinned Negro.
But you're talking about colorism, and
but this is
they're wise.
But this I'm saying is that we say it's not about color. I mean, yeah, bloodline holds more weight. It does. But there's a measure of color that, I mean, and it has weight. It literally has weight to into the whole synapses of everything that's going on.
What you're talking, sorry, I was just going to interject. I agree with you.
Go ahead.
But the issue is that it is and it isn't. See, they're crafty. It's not really about color because they also understand the spirit. They understand the bloodline. They understand these things. They have to play like they're dumb, like they don't know, but they know, right? They understand that. But when it comes to this is why I said they've had, look, we're just trying to unravel everything. We're trying to unravel the mess that they've had. Like, we could say 500 to 400 years, but it really hasn't been that. It's been 2,000 years since the time of the Greeks. They've had all this time to unravel, to build up this, the Greeks set the foundation, and the Romans came and they added more. And then the Renaissance, they did whatever they did. And then everything else after slavery, they fine-tuned it. And these lot, they maintain it. That's what we're fighting against. 2,000 years of history of them fine-tuning, creating, and manipulating, maintaining, and fine-tuning and maintaining. That's what we're fighting against. See, it is about color, but it isn't. The color, it's a trick. It's witchcraft, because it makes you believe that it's all about this. But remember, Esau was a crafty, cunning man, and he knew how to manipulate his prey, which is what made him an excellent hunter. Because while you're thinking, well, it's about this, that, and the other, it's about color. And yeah, go on. Sorry, because I did talk for a while. Go on.
I'm looking at it like this then, and some of the brothers, sisters made comments. Willie Lynch, and they used it right. Matter of fact, they use it right down to this very day. They use that right down to the very day. The darker you are, the more you're supposed to smile. Period. This is what the world is saying, because they know the darker you are, no, you will be one of those field niggers. You're light skinned, bring it to the house. We're going to start putting up walls against these black people. Now, you even had what was they called? But they was like they was mixed with French Creole people.
Yeah.
And they owned slaves, but they was marrying white people. So but the ones who was treated the worst was the dark-skinned brown people.
Yes.
Off the top, whether not whether he was what, but to use that skin color did not matter. I can't totally agree with that. It mattered a great deal, because it's for the ones who see, the one who can see. This, and you can run into a dark-skinned person. First thing they're gonna talk about is his dark skin. Well, you black, so and so, so and so, so and so. This is what what? And that's what the world has done. And to a degree, I had to pull back. It has something to do with the color of your skin. Period. And then you may have one or two light-skinned people in a slave movie. The rest of them gonna be dark-skinned, looking all rough and ragged.
Yeah.
You wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is that there's more to it. It's like a complex lattice of all these moving parts. Like, for example, skin color, like I said, skin color is, but it isn't, but it's not just about us as well. Because even though, like I said, you've got Indians who are just as dark, and they also go through their own version of colorism, sometimes even worse than us, right? And it's like, even you've got the Koreans, especially the Koreans are just as bad, So it's like you've got so many other nations who practice colorism, and it's like, well, where does all of this stem from? See, when you think about the wine of the wrath of Babylon, right? The wine of the wrath of her fornication. It's not just talking about how she treated us. It's also talking about her ideologies. In Thailand, I think is it Thailand? Yeah, Thailand. They now are accepting the whole, marriage of they can get married. because even though they had a lot of, they have a lot of, tea people out there and everything, it wasn't just marriage, but they didn't have any rights, right? But now they're now receiving rights. This was something that just happened either this week, the beginning of this week, or the ending of last week. And it's like,
what was happening in Thailand, though? I mean,
okay, so you know that you got the lady boys, yeah, okay,
The T
right,
boys.
yeah, the T boys, the T boys. You've got them, right, okay. So they didn't have any rights out there. They accept them, they allow them to do whatever they wanted to do, but they didn't have the rights to vote or to do certain other things, and they couldn't get married. They've now changed that. It was either late last week or the beginning of this week. They've just changed it. It's gone through and everything. And I looked at that and I was like, these places they weren't big on that kind of stuff, especially in China. They weren't big on this kind of stuff. And when you see things like that alongside with the colorism and everything else like that, that's also also the Babylonian doctrines from these people, from the West, from Babylon itself, and it comes from the top and kind of trickles down. And the reason for it's always at the top, because they're so far removed from the further down you get, the darker it is. It's the same way, the further back you go into history, the darker it becomes. So the further down you go along the line, that's where their hatred is dispelled. And it's like everybody feels the heat, and the next person looking down is like, well, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to throw it down to you. And the next person is throwing it down to the others until it hits us at the bottom. And then even we have our own tier system, like you were saying, with the colorism. And if you're dark, then you get the worst of it. But all of this is basically Babylonian doctrines, and it comes because of the fact, like I said, they cannot. Am I echoing?
No, I think that's probably me.
And it comes as a result of, like Sister Gates Holder was saying, when you can't produce the thing that everybody else can produce, the best thing you can do is to demonize it so that everybody else hates what is naturally gifted to them, to the point where they will cast it out, and then they can't even go in the sun, and everybody's joining you in midnight. That's the mentality of them. They want everybody to join, to cast off what was naturally gifted to them, what was righteous, what was beautiful and everything. Cast that off to join them in darkness. Do you get that? To join them in darkness. Think on that, how you need to, because it is multifaceted. They need us to cast off something that allows us to reign in the light, to join with them in darkness where they rule. And that's what that is ultimately.
I don't know, sister. And I see what you're saying. I do. But when it's all over said and done, those Negroes that was on that boat, they were dark-skinned people. All right, but the fact that, our disobedience, we went to the four corners of the earth, and our dark-skinned skin started lightening it up in certain areas of our captivity.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'll have to push back on that. We were always a speckled bird. That's what the word even says. We were always a speckled bird. We had the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark in our family groups, even today.
You can have your albinos and things, but albinos, they have a child. The child come out dark skinned.
Yeah, but we would still be lightest of the light to darkest of the dark. That's how we go. That's how that goes.
Look at David.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So they knew who they were, getting. We would still have Negroid features, even no matter the phenotype. That's what they tried to use on us, was the fact that our phenotype had such an extensive range. Their phenotype does not have a range like that. It's very much, a lighter phenotype. They can't get any darker unless they put on like Hawaiian tropics. I mean, that's just how it goes.
They
I
can
mean,
get.
for real,
Can
that's
they
just
get
how
any
it goes.
lighter?
They'll get dark for a period of time if they're out in the sun trying to work on their tan.
You mean a dark
Right?
shade of red?
Yeah, for some, and I mean, and even if you look at those that are of Eastern European, factor, right? They're dark. They can shade down a little bit, right? But they're still going to lighten back up if they don't have any sun in them. Now, yes, the Anglo-Saxon, yeah, they're very, very light skinned, very light, even compared amongst their European families. But you have black people that would still have melanin, even though we would have the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes in all of our families. Some of our people would have, the good hair, and some of our people would have very, very curly hair.
I
You want
hate
to
hearing
hair.
that though.
We
The
see it.
good hair. What is the
We see
good
it.
hair,
Well,
really?
the quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? Quote unquote, you know, um, stringy to a textured coil. If you want to, use that, I'm just using, the colloquialism. That's more of our, defined.
Yeah,
Understanding.
exactly. But you got Tesla coils on your head, and you wanna like, it's just, I said in one this this is the quote that I left on. I was watching some video a few years back, and I had a different account. This was the quote that got me in trouble and got my that account, gone. But I basically said, our hair shows who we serve. Our hair stands up and it shows who we serve. Their hair drops down. And I didn't say anything else. I just put dot, 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 dot. And one Gentile woman, and it's always a woman, she got mad. She got triggered. And it was a Gentile man that started cussing her and said, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And she got really mad and got triggered and she reported me. And yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I always say, look, when people talk about the concept of race was just created back in the 17th and 18th century. It hasn't been around that long. It's a
Ironically, when we was taken.
exactly, because why? Because that is our phenotype or phenotypes. That's the genetics.
They had to do that because there were so many of us. They could no longer afford to be so separate. They had to come together. They had to have this coalition where they could manage us better. There's no way you understand. There's no way they would have worked if they did not cast off their individual countries and so on and so forth. If they kept that, there's no way this would have worked. We would have run true on them long ago. They had to come together. They had to cast off. We're no longer, there's no Italians, there's no English, there's no Scottish, there's no Irish, there's no Spanish, there's no German, there's none of that. We're all white. And it benefited them for a long time. Now they're trying to cast it off. Now they're trying to separate themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. And now they're trying to say, well, they're black, or what is Maloney trying to say, that they're, African because of the tectonic plate there.
Oh gosh. Like
I mean, you get the same thing with the Russians. The Russians are, trying to they're trying to make a big push towards the continent. They're going in very hard with, understand these history, understand these facts and things of that nature. I mean, you understand they're trying to continue to get access to those resources
Oh
that
yeah.
that they know is being lost. Their whole campaign is a campaign of kindness. Look, we're not like the Europeans, right? We're not like other, quote unquote white folks. We are different. So they're trying to
Mm.
make a play at, the continent that, look, we're not here to colonize. We're literally here to help support you, to help build you on up and things of that nature. I
At
mean,
what cost?
oh, there's always a cost. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
always
I
a
know, I
cost.
know.
But
I don't mind doing business with people as long as it's fair
yeah,
and both parties benefit. There's nothing wrong with that. An equal trade, that's fine, that's fair. If they're willing to do that, then by all means. But these people, nah. Like I said, you want some of these resources, pay us with the gold and the stuff that you took. You don't want to pay reparations, but you're going to pay it either way, one way or another. We're taking back our stuff.
yeah. It's, and that's the whole thing. Look, as long as you're doing business and you're treated fairly, then that's the whole dynamic of this, right? The whole reality of it was they never wanted to do business fairly at all. They didn't want to do business per se. They just wanted to take and act like they were doing fair business.
Mm.
They wanted to take and say, well, you signed, there's a contract, so it seems as though you were doing quote unquote business, but you weren't doing anything but just um, getting into a very terrible contract that did not benefit everyone equally. It benefited
Mm.
one party, it benefited one party, and not the other. That was always the unfair, unjust treatment.
Did you
And
guys
now
have stuff that says fair trade on like your food?
you're
What?
no, no.
Oh, you don't? Okay. We do. And I always laugh at it because I know it's not fair. Like
It's not
our
fair.
coffee
Yeah.
would say fair trade, or bananas would say fair trade from, usually the continent or South America. And it's
Hmm.
like, then when you actually look into the fair trade, it's like, no, this ain't fair at all. What are you talking about? But yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose
So
you guys don't have that, but
no, no, they don't care about fair anything.
know.
You saw that debate, right? They just care about their golf swings. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true.
so I mean, that is where we're sitting at in this time, because why? Because at the end of the day, the world is seeing how this nation works, and now they're trying their best to divest from it. This is why you have BRICS. I don't want to have a monetary system linked to them, because at the end of the day, if you're linked into a monetary system that is controlled by unfair wages and unfair tactics, that's a system that's not going to be sustained.
Mm.
That, I mean, plain and simple. This is why you have folks trying to clamor into BRICS. I think there are going to be BRICS adjacent countries, and then there's going to be folks that's going to make up the hard, the core of the BRICS capital structure. That's what's happening right now. This is why, look, when people see, I look at that destruction in the distance, because why? Because number one, I'm going to tell you this. Which white person do you know will ever be okay with being made poor by an African nation or an African continent? I mean, let's just be honest. If you know that the continent of Africa was going to cause you to be poor. Is that something that you would have or expect them to stand by and just, you know, not put up a
No.
fight, not put up a resistance? We know their nature.
All those TikTok videos of those so-called righteous white people that have said, "Oh, you know, this is going on," and blah blah blah. Watch how much that will cease when they find out if it's a, well, do we continue down the path that we're going down where we end up poor and we can't do, just enjoy our life again, and it gets even worse from this point, or do we just continue to do what we've always done? They will choose that one. They'll be like, well, it's them or us.
Yeah, that's
Never
exactly.
it would never enter into their head, well, can we do something that's fair?
No, because why? Because fairness and equality, those are just the nice words.
Mm.
But when you get down to really, brass tacks, when you get down to bare knuckles, that goes against literally their ethos.
Mm-hmm.
That goes against their core. And this is why, what's happening right now, it's a scary notion for them that they have to lie about people and organizations and things of that nature and say it's Chat GPT and all that other stuff, right? Well, it's not me. It's now the robot. It's the machine that's saying it. Because why? Because they have to control and regain a narrative that they've clearly lost.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole point of today's show. You're seeing a narrative that they've lost, and now because they've lost the narrative, they're going back and they're doing the same things as their forefathers when they say that they're not their forefathers.
Exactly.
But they're doing the same exact narrative, and this time they just say, oh, it's not us, it's AI. Here's the problem. No one in the world is believing that. So when no one is now believing their lies, that's when the liar becomes very dangerous.
Yeah, and they always go after the weakest person.
They go
Let them
off
just
the
go
weak
after
link.
them. Yeah.
Exactly. Because how do they determine you're a weak link? Well, they got to see how you react to things. If you react to things the way that they want you to react, then guess what? That's how they get a chance to stymie you. Oh, see, look, they're uncivilized. Look at how they reacted to us calling them liars. Look at this, look at that. See, when you don't say anything to them, or you just come back to them with facts. So are you telling me that this document right here is a lie? This is a document that you use.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the liar? This document or you?
Yeah, that's the most terrifying thing, is when you have an educated black person just tell you, Israelite person just telling you that using your own facts against you, that terrifies them.
Well, it's terrifying because at a sense is, well, this internet wasn't designed for what we're doing. It was designed to continue to entertain, right? And to keep
Mm-hmm.
us
Yeah.
asleep and to keep us ignorant, to keep us dulled down. And we're not doing what, their design was on us in the usage of this internet.
It was designed for us to watch cats,
It,
kittens.
it was designed for us to watch World Star Hip Hop and to see
Yeah.
all the ignorance, to read media takeout, to be involved in all these celebrity beefs and everything else that had no bearing on anything that we did in life. And now this is why they're so scared, because we're saying, well, have you seen this historical document? Have you seen this historical image? Have you seen this?
Mm-hmm.
Explain this to us.
Mm.
The Moors against the wild men. Explain this image to us.
Have you asked anybody that? Like, you know,
they can't. Yeah, they don't want to acknowledge it. They can't acknowledge it. But you
I want
want
to
to
see
know,
their faces when they
yeah,
see that painting.
but you can't. But here's the problem. They'll just say, "Oh, it's just, fake," and then it's like, "Well, what about all these things right here? Everything that we will tell or talk about, well, they even become so controversial that even YouTube will not allow certain videos to play. That's just how it goes. You'll have to go to Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey or wherever.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing but a distraction. I mean, then when P Diddy stuff falls down, they bring up, oh, Tupac, he's alive. I mean, dude, come on, then, man. I mean,
apparently Michael Jackson's still alive somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Went around here walking around with a Jerry curl and a goatee. I mean, this is what they do. I mean, they continue to lie on you and about you, and then on top of it, put out distractions on top of the lie. Oh, Prince Roger Nelson was spotted in Miami Mall with an afro and a pig sticking out of it.
And let's say all of these things are true. Let's just say Michael Jackson was alive still, or Prince, or Tupac. Who cares? What does that? What's that got to do with the price of fish? Who cares? You're still killing us. You're still doing what you're doing. If they really want us asleep, all they need to do is just pay us our reparations and just stop killing us.
Well, I would say this: it's not just pay us our reparations, start killing us. They have to they would pay us our reparations. Everybody would be entitled to at least one ultra luxury vehicle of either like a Rolls Royce, Bentley,
some land.
Yeah. We'd have to have a at least a mansion of at least 5 bedrooms.
At least, of course, to accommodate our many children that we're going to have.
That's correct. And to have one of those oversized Viking refrigerators, and pantry that's
cool.
a walk-in pantry with a walk-in refrigerator. I mean, that's the bare minimum, at least in my book. You know what I'm saying? That's the
couple
bare
of servants. Let's
and
not
2 servants. Yes, thank
2?
you.
Only 2. Come on now, you
least,
could do better.
At the very least, 2 servants.
Okay, I'll give you that. At the very least.
All right, listen. I mean, you have to have 12 hours.
Well trained, nails manicured, clean. You're wearing a uniform, by the way.
And an ankle bracelet too. Monitoring bracelet.
Yes, I think so.
No, they get. It's 12 on. They go home. It's 12 on, 12 off. Right. That's just how that goes.
I know there's going to be some in the chat site. They ain't coming in my house.
You don't come in the big house.
You ain't coming in my kitchen. Hey, listen, man. Let me tell you something here. There's been some stories. I don't know, like what goes on over there, but over here, like there's a few people that have put cameras in their kitchen, like with builders, yeah, and they come in, and they're doing the work and everything. One builder, I saw this man, I kid you not, he was urinating in their kitchen sink.
Oh no.
In their kitchen sink. Like, oh my gosh. And then like they can't understand why we get very itchy around them being in our kitchen area. No, you have to be well trained. There's gonna have to be cameras.
You just got to a point where they do not believe their own lies.
They can't cook. No, they can't. Has anybody seen the one with the, sorry to cut you, but did anybody see the one with this Gentile woman? She put she made some concoction in her toilet and then started drinking from it. She was like, the toilet's clean. No. On your neck of the woods, by the way, because I'm not to be funny, but most Gentiles over here, they don't do mess like that. They don't, because most of the Gentiles over here, they had to look after themselves. But the ones over there, they come from people, even though they say, well, my family didn't. I was like, shut up, you're lying. They come from a lineage of people that didn't have to do anything. So of course she's gonna think, if I clean the toilet, she put like I can't remember what the top part of the toilet, the cistern, right? She put Skittles and other candy, sweets, whatever. She put it in there, flushed it, and just made it all come down or whatever. And it was and then she's like, oh look, but she put straws in it and just drink it. I'm like, ew! I was traumatized. I'm like, are you for real?
Huh? I bet you was traumatized. I mean, all right, if they want to get in there and do that dumb stuff, I mean, you gotta have a whole lot of time on your hands. Put out some dumb stuff to record it and put it online and show, oh, it's okay. You eat it. Then get back with me in a couple of days or whatever, and let me look at your skin tone and see is it getting paler.
It was so disgusting. You know when you don't want to watch it, but you watch it and you go back and you watch it again because you can't. It's like, is this real? And I was like, yeah, this ain't real. Until I literally saw her put straws in it, and she called others to gather round, everyone, gather round, come enjoy this beverage, this toilet beverage that I made for everyone to enjoy. And there were others that came and they all put their straws in and they were drinking. This is nice. It's good, isn't it? I'm like, ew, you're disgusting.
Was this like a TV show or what?
No, this was on Facebook. This was on Facebook, but this was a few years ago. Oh, I beg somebody has to have seen it, man. It was so disgusting. It was a brunette woman. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm telling you, look, they're panicking. Even here in Florida, they're panicking a bit because let me tell you, this is the earliest hurricane season. The earliest hurricane season to where you have a Cat 5 hurricane that came out of the Atlantic. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to Hurricane Beryl. It was literally last week. They're like, oh, it may form. It may do this. It may not even get to a hurricane. Now this is one of the strongest hurricanes on record for this early in the season at 165 mile per hour.
What's the name of the hurricane?
Beryl, B-E-R-Y-L.
Yes. It skipped Barbados. It's I think it might hit Jamaica. I'm not sure.
I think it's going to skirt over Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna and it's gonna hit Jamaica very, very powerfully.
Because it's just an island.
It ain't a Category 4 anymore. It may hit Jamaica as a Category 4. That thing is 165 mile per hour wind. Oh my goodness.
Lord. No.
It's this early in the season.
That's like holding a blow dryer to an ant.
We don't even get hurricanes, especially here in the United States. We don't start getting them until about maybe July, late July, early August. And if it's that bad now, you already know we're about to get hit with something like a Katrina. You already know.
Garth, it hit Grenada?
Yeah, it hit Grenada. It tore Grenada up.
Barbados always seems to get missed.
Mm-hmm.
It missed. Yeah. It skipped over. But hold on, somebody saw that. Philip Turner, did you see it? Did you see the toilet thing, the toilet juice?
Yeah, somebody like 2 or 3 people said they seen that.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, it's toilet juice. It was toilet juice. She made it from the toilet. It's toilet juice.
Somebody else said,
horrible.
Somebody said, did she just get out of prison?
Yeah, I know. I saw that as well. Did she just get out of prison? She's about to go into one. To stop sharing at any point. I can't. You all need to know my pain. If I see it, I'm going to share it. I can't. Sharing is caring, remember.
Yeah, I mean, the whole adage here is, look, you don't eat their food, and that's for a reason. Look, I've definitely understood that. That's what we know, especially here in the United States. And that's kept many of us out of the hospital for extensive
What, not eating their food?
That it's true. It is true. We, even at like potlucks back in the day, it's like, oh, who made that? And then nobody would touch it. But,
I'm allergic.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, I want to kind of bring us back on track here, especially, try to get out of the gutter or get our heads out of the toilet.
Sorry, that's me.
Get out of the swirl. What is it? The swirlies or whatever.
Yeah, you could flush that one away.
But it really is, when we're looking at a lot of what's going on. I don't really pay it. You have to pay attention, but I really don't care about the troglodyte behavior. I don't. I really don't. What I care about is, right, what that behavior is going to start to look like for the rest of the world, because of how they have to try to present themselves as, something that they clearly aren't. They have to present themselves to the rest of the world in whatever image or imagery, right? Oh, Trump said that these are S-hole countries. It's not S-hole countries and this and that. Remember how they got scared of what Trump had said? Because here's the problem. Everybody that was reacting to what Trump had said, you know what they do? They say the same things in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not supposed to say the quiet part out loud. That's all that happens. So all they're doing,
he broke the code.
He's breaking the code. All they're mad about is,
he spoke it out loud.
Exactly. And if he's speaking out loud, then what are they doing to isolate themselves? What are they doing to, not have a recourse to say, oh, it's just Trump and nobody feels that way? And then you literally had Fox News saying the same exact things, like, well, that's what happens. That's what's going on. Like, the very next day, Fox News was defending that. And you had not just Fox News defending, you had a lot of folks on Twitter defending the same exact thing. Well, let's just be for real. Well, let's just be, giving their anecdotes of, it is reality. Well, why is it reality? And then when they started to get beat back on the brow, because, well, it is reality, because why? Because these S-hole countries are the way they are because of what you do to them with your foreign policies.
Exactly.
And they weren't liking how that was being brought back. Oh, you're just hating. And then when you say that, when you tell them it's because of your policies, well, you all are liars. You all are this. And then it's like, okay, well, look at this policy. Look at this national security memo. Look at this Joint Chiefs of Staff memo. Look at this NSA memo. All this stuff. And then, well, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know.
So dumb. And it's just it's a macro version of the micro version that they do to you guys.
Yeah. And yeah, and the funny thing is, the whole system that they have is they actually do this to their own people.
Yeah.
And that's now why they're getting mad. Oh, black people are telling the truth. Um, in order for this system to function, they have to have the overseers. Come on now. They act like these slave movies were just so in the past and it never happened. All they did was they recruited more people out of Eastern Europe to play the roles. That's
Exactly.
it.
They
That
have
was
their own
it.
overseers now.
And now they got their look. It's the classism was the classism. And you want to know what they're really afraid of? And I saw that. I kind of laughed looking at that online. They're afraid. They don't want us to go back to Africa. Why?
No.
Why would I
I
want
don't
you to
want
go
you
back to Africa? Because if you go back, then somebody here has to be the replacement of the bottom, and that's not going
exactly.
to be me.
Somebody got to
Exactly.
take your place. Somebody got to take your place.
Yeah, it's not going to be me that's going to be on the bottom. It's not going to be me that's going to be having issues. Absolutely not.
What y'all
That is
went
their
through?
biggest
Oh
fear.
no,
Yeah, that's their
not
biggest fear.
no, not my kids.
Yeah, so when they
AI sits at the top though.
yeah, well, exactly. But that's why look, they have to try to have again the semblance of if you're doing something with our brothers and sisters on the continent, you now have an issue with an organization because the organization is effective. So now you're going to be rated by the AI as legitimate or illegitimate. So you have no recourse. We were never going to have recourse.
The more they push though, it's like it's an equal and opposite force, but it's not really that equal. You push, he pushes back harder. It's for me. It's like I don't want to say it's a lack of intelligence. I don't think it's a lack of intelligence. I think it's just desperation. They know they can see that every time they do something to us, they're not. We need to stop thinking that they're unintelligent or they're stupid or whatever. They do silly things, yes, but they're not dumb.
No, they're not.
They,
No. Yeah, it's like, please don't understand. They're not dumb. They are in a very highly driven hive mentality. It is. It's a hive mentality. Some folks
mm,
are higher in the hive than others, but at the end of the day, they know they're in a hive.
But I
We're
think
just
it's more
brought into the
so.
hive.
I think they, along with that, they see that we have we know how they move. We know how they think, and so on top of them not being dumb and ignorant, you have something else about them. We know how they move and how they think, and that's one of the things that fears that they maintain in fear. They know how we think. They know how we move.
mm,
We know, if you have a business deal with a Gentile in the back of a Negro of mine. All right, I know this guy's trying to get more than me. He's looking out for his advantage. You need to have the same type of mentality towards him.
mm-hmm.
I need to make sure this is for my advantage. And so, I mean, and that's how they think. They trying to, how can I end up on top? That's it. How can I end up on top? That's their last thought to business. And if they know they cannot end up on
and
top,
last.
well, yeah, if I can get 10%, so be it. I would just have to climb that ladder as I go. They will climb that ladder as they go, you know, to get to where they want to get to. And that's the fear, because we know how they move.
And that's exactly why they don't want us going back home.
Well, they might hang that one up.
That's the calamity. That's the calamity. But I tell you again, the calamity, they see it coming. And as they see it coming, look, there's nothing that they can do about it. So what's the thing that what's your I would say this. If they know that they can't do anything about what's happening, their biggest recourse is the fighting. And they want to fight, but I think that what's going to end up happening is they're going to start to fight each other first.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the only way I could see it. We want to get back on top, but we're going to fight each other to get back on top of this. Final comments.
I'll go first. It's going to be, I agree with you, it has to be them fighting each other first. It's the same thing that happened to us when Jerusalem fell. They have to fight each other. Now, the difference between us and them is that they're fighting for dominance. And what is it dominance over us? You can't fight us separate. They have to first eliminate the dissidents in their own structure and try to unify or bring everybody together. Once they've quelled all those who have opposed whatever, whether it's the left or the right, I don't care. At this point, it doesn't matter. If the right wins, then whoever's left, you join us, they galvanize, and then they move against us. If the left wins, did I say left or who? Yeah, if the left wins, then the same thing. But before they come against us, they have to first fight each other. That's what's going to happen. You know, for me, I've always said the same thing. It's not so for you guys. I don't say you guys. For us, because that's like you're my family. For us, right? I'm just where I am. You guys are where you are. For us, the fight is literally. It was never about the war. The war's not for us. The war is our way out. But for you guys, or for us, it's about making sure that these Gentiles don't, destroy us. The war for us in the States is about them, right? Them coming against us. For them, this is theirs. This is their war. This is their war. And the mentality that they have is the mentality they've always had. Is a mentality that their father has. Is I'm going to take as many with me. Mm-hmm. That's a very demonic mindset.
Yep.
I don't care. As long as if I go, if I die, Theodon dies with me. That's a line from out of Lord of the Rings. That's literally what Saruman said to Gandalf when he was trying to pull out Saruman out of the king. If I die, Theodon dies with me. That's them. If I die, I'm bringing you with me. That's so demonic. That really is. But, like I said, it doesn't even enter into their heads to repent. As a whole, I'm not going to paint every single one of them because there are a few of them who are hearing the call and are listening and are doing what they're doing. We will never know. And the Most High doesn't need us to know. And it's not for us to know. They will reveal themselves when it's time. But for now, they're doing what they're doing. And a lot of them do what they do behind the scenes. And most of us would never even know it. And that's fine. That's how it should be. Right? But for the majority, we're talking about them as a whole, as a nation. This is where their head is at. They do not care. They will cut their nose off and their lips and their eyelids to spite their whole face. So That's what I wanted to say. But yeah, thank you for having me on again. And shalom to everyone in the chat. I didn't greet everyone, but yeah, it was a good conversation. Anyway,
all right.
thank you. Bye bye.
Sister
All right, take care,
Chantel.
sis.
Brother Mike, final comments.
Well, the lies are going to get stronger. Well, I ain't gonna say stronger. The lies are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming off the top. And we may be feeling a little bit more heat than ever before. But it's going to well, it ain't going to be. We are at that point. Our reliance will have to be on the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's as if we gotta overdose our line of thinking upon Him. Because the moment we get emotional about it, that's the moment we start making mistakes. That's when we start making mistakes. And it's going to get, at times it may get depressing and things of that nature. But we must press on. Yahushua said it. Those that endure to the end are the ones that will be saved. Let's just go ahead and fight for our endurance. We know what they have done. We know what they're doing. And we also know the end result. And let us just continue to press on. Pray for one another. Pray for QTUA. We still over here trying to broker relationships with the brothers on the continent, politicians, whoever we need to meet with in order for us to have a relationship back with our brothers. That's what we're doing. And just pray for us. And we pray for one another, put it that way. And let's keep it moving. There you go, Brother Karish.
All right. Thanks, Brother Mike. All right. Well, family. Yeah, this is what we go through on a daily basis. That means we're effective. If we're going through these struggles, these toils, I just thank the Most High that we're doing it. Because why? Now we're seeing this destruction in the distance. It's playing itself out. To have a relationship with the continent, that to them is more scary than anything that they could even imagine. That's crazy. That's a shame. But honestly, that shouldn't be surprising. That's why I always say, family, pray for us at Quest Unite Africa. Pray for me on this channel. I thank you for your gifts, your support. Because why? Because now there is a digital constraint that's placed on all of us that want to do something for the African diaspora. Understand the principalities that we fight. It's a fight against principalities. And yeah, it's wearisome. It can wear on you. Doing this stuff is not easy. And if it was very easy, there'd be many, many people clamoring to do this. It's not. It's an attack on you, your family, your livelihood, your well-being, all of that. Last week, I was trying to get on. My body wouldn't even allow me to do it. This is the very first day that I'm not just tired. Because it's tiring. I'm not here to just ask for donations just because I want to ask. I like to ask. I'm asking for donations because you're seeing they're not going to support us. And no one's going to support us. No one's going to give us grants. No one's going to give us anything. It's not how this system works. For those that want to support us and are true to their word to try to support, I appreciate it. Gee, why is it now that we're now seeing, well, I don't want to support black organizations because of this, this, and this. That's because we have AI literally leaking into people's brains. I see things happening with my own eyes, but AI says not to trust it. So we just traded a taskmaster of flesh and blood for a taskmaster of binary code. That's crazy. See for your own eyes. And like I always said, pray about it. Because here's the thing. No matter what, AI cannot beat the Most High. And it's going to always, always lose in the end. To me, now, I told you I don't like to speculate, but what I do like to see is their reactions, because their reactions are the ones that count, that dictate how close we have to this destruction that's coming. Plain and simple. So, family, don't lose heart. Don't give up hope. But I'm here to say the Most High is about to do something amazing. Because why? Because when you understand your enemy, you now know who to pray against. And you let the Most High fight your battles. And guess what? The Most High will bring folks to fight your battle. And you'll be surprised who actually fights on your behalf. So with that said, family, I'm going to get up on out of here. Continue to keep us in your prayers. Questy Night Africa in your prayers. Absolutely. Keep me in your prayers, family. And we'll go from there. So with that said, family, most high willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And with that said, shalom, salama, siemi, Shalom. Peace and blessings. Yasharel.